Hi, welcome back to Pattern Shift. My name is Saskia, and in this episode, as part of a series where we talk about the Yavel framework, this episode focuses on wayfinding, rediscovering your why, how to reconnect with your purpose when your business starts to drift, or alternatively, if you haven't started your business, how to figure out why you want to do this. This episode is part of a special series where I walk you through the Yavel business framework. WOL standing for Wayfind, Organise and Launch. Also, of course, WOL is Dutch for wool. And the brand name is Yavel, which is actually translates to yes, wool. But in German, it means something like yes or hell yes. And so it's a play on a German word and Dutch words, and basically says, hell yes, choose wool. So over time, I kind of built a framework, and I wanted my name to reflect that framework. Yavel is a playful name that reflects my business philosophy. The J and the A, which means yes in Dutch, stands for joy and action. I believe that good business starts with what lights you up and that it is built through intentional steps. I'm very much an action taker myself. And so that part of the brand Yavel, J-A, joy and action really fit. And then WOL, WOL, or wool in English, stands for Wayfind, Organise and Launch. My three-part approach to building a sustainable, values-led business that actually fits your life. So if you're looking for clarity, ease, and a more joyful way to run your business, this series is for you. Hey there, and welcome to Pattern Shift, the podcast where creative business owners like you learn to build a business that's inspiring, fun, and sustainable. I'm Saskia de Feiter, a business strategist, guide, maker, and all-round creative entrepreneur. I help business owners in the needle and fiber craft world, just like you, navigate all those icky words, branding, marketing, and strategy in a way that actually works for your creative brain. Here we talk about everything from running a values-driven business to simplifying your marketing without burning out. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your business, you're in the right place. So settle in, grab a cup of tea, coffee, or, broodladig, you do you, and let's get started. Today, we're starting right at the heart of it all, your why. Because when your business starts to feel off track or when you're just starting a new business, reconnecting or connecting with your purpose is like connecting to your inner compass. And in this episode, we're going to explore how to rediscover what really matters. And when I say rediscover, that's the focus, because lots of you already have a business or you might be starting. So whenever I say rediscover, I'm also talking about discovering it for the first time. Exploring what really matters and why it is the foundation for everything else you build. So let's start with the drifting away from why you started your business in the first place. The feeling that your business still works on the outside, but something feels off. You're like going through the motions. You slowly started making decisions based on what you think you should be doing instead of what actually lights you up, actually gives you joy. I've been there. And for me, it looked like stepping into the shop, my yarn shop at the time, and basically just starting to clean up until the first customer came in. And then before I knew it, it was the end of the day and I hadn't done anything to actually move my business forward or grow my business. I was just going through the motions of keeping things tidy and helping customers. And I kind of felt drifted. I knew in the back of my mind that what I needed to do is spend some time reconnecting to my purpose and all of that joyful feeling, but I didn't have the time, or let's say that differently. I didn't take the time, because you'll never have the time. If you're just like, I don't know what they were called. In Dutch, they were called the doers, the little green man in the Fraggle Rock that were building. I think they were called builders or something like that. In Dutch, they're called doers, the doeners. And they're just doing. It doesn't seem like they're going anywhere with it because the Fraggles are constantly eating the builds. So yeah, you want to get off that feeling. You want to reconnect to the joy of it all. But it usually doesn't really happen all that once. When you notice this has happened, it's kind of tiny shifts. You say yes to a project that doesn't quite align. You tweak your messaging to sound more professional, but now it doesn't really sound like you. There was a time when I started to say we at Javel, and it was just me. And I think a lot of us do this. If you write your newsletter or if you're on social media, you say, we do this or that. Well, in fact, it is just you, because it sounds more professional. I stopped sharing pictures of my children on social media and showed only products. And although I really still believe that that was a good thing to stop sharing pictures of my children, for a while there, I took out all the human of my business. I was just showing the products and there was no human there anymore, just yarns and tools and needles. That wasn't really me, because I'm all about community and connecting with people over craft, over knitting. My messaging wasn't in alignment with who I was as a business owner or my brand for that matter, but I was building it. I was getting to it. I didn't at that time do a step by step to figure out what my brand was, because that just grew with time. And I kind of also started to work. Like it was energetic. At times, of course, it was fun, but there wasn't a direction to it. Sometimes you can stop checking in with your values because you are so caught up in the day-to-day that you kind of forget what's important to you and how you want to come across as a business. Now, it's okay. You can find your way back if this all sounds familiar to you, or if you are, as I said, right at the beginning of your business and you want to figure out who you are, why you're actually doing this. It's quite interesting because let's say there's a person in my life that is right at the beginning of something. As a friend, as a coach in training, as a consultant and a creative business strategist, or whatever hat you want to put on my head, there's so many ways I can help in a situation like that. But what I first said to them is discover why actually you want to do this. Why would you start something? And then you can decide what it can look like. Okay, so discovering or rediscovering your why it's not just a pretty mission statement, like a businessy type of, this is what we're all about. It is more than that. It is, as I say, the W and WOL stands for wayfinding. It's the kind of coaching that I'm learning to do. It is finding your way through building your business, growing your business. And your why is your anchor, your compass, your foundation. It is what you use to make decisions, to make your journey easier. It's allowed to evolve. You don't have to have it right away. It's something that grows, that changes, but it's really important that you check in with yourself regularly to see if you're still on the right path. Who you were when you started your business might not be who you are now. That's okay. That's just what growth is. And this part of the wayfinding stage is about pausing long enough to ask yourself a couple of questions. So, journalers, take your pen, take your journal, and write down these questions. And after this, take some time and write about it. Why did I start this in the first place? Or why do I want to start this in the first place? What do I actually care about right now? And what kind of business do I want to wake up to every day? What lights you up? What brings you joy? Or what is so important to you that you're willing to give it your time, your love, and your energy? You don't need perfect clarity. You just need to sit with yourself, feel your feels, and, okay, bear with me here, feel into your body. I know. Some of you are like, please, Sus, don't go there. But it's true, though. It's really true. Because when you're feeling a little nauseous each morning, that's your body telling you something, that something is off. And it could be, something like medical, but it could also be feeling nervous about not being on track. That happens to me. I get nauseous. I get a stomach that's confused. And if that happens for a long stretch of time, I need to listen to my body. And I don't care if that sounds woo. That's just how we are built as humans. We're not just a brain on legs. We are a fully functioning to and fro brain body type unit. So listen to what's going on inside you. Ask yourself those questions. Why did I start this? Or why do I want to start this? What am I looking for? What kind of feeling? What kind of goal? What kind of effect? What do I actually care about in life in general or right now in this moment? And what kind of business do I want to wake up to every day? Like imagining waking up, opening your eyes and going, oh yeah, I get to go do this because of this. So if you find it hard to get to that feeling, really just sit down with pen and paper. And if that's hard, turn on your recorder on your phone and just talk into your phone. Just find a friend, have some coffee and say, listen, I've got 3 questions I need to work through and I need you to help me with this. And if that's hard, and this is just coming up, I swear this wasn't planned. I do have coaching sessions available. I'm still learning to be a coach. That also means that it's at a very low cost. So if you want to know more about that, just get in touch with me through the usual links and whatever you might call it in the show notes. You don't need perfect clarity. You just need to listen to yourself. Your body, your mind, your everything. Okay, back to the topic. Here's a few things that help me recenter. So when I feel unrooted, I go back to a few simple things that always help me out. Of course, journaling. Whether that's bullet journaling or morning pages or just writing what's in your mind, it always helps to just let the dust settle. Find a way to organize all the yarn that's a tangled mess. And it really, really helps me. Another thing that helps to recenter is to be honest with myself and look at what I'm avoiding. Sometimes I feel resistance and it can point straight to something that's out of alignment. So I think the best example of that is some use of social media for me, and how I look at that and how I want or don't want to use that in my business. When I start to feel avoidant and resisting stuff, that I need to listen to that. And I've started doing it, and it had some effects on my business, definitely, but it also brought me a lot, and it feels so much better to be able to be myself and to Hey there, small break. This is me, Saskia. You know me as a guide, mentor, and teacher, but I've also set off on a new adventure, coaching. And let me tell you, it's kind of magical. Coaching gets a bad rap sometimes, but when it's done right, it can be really transformational. I have so much great experience with it as a coachee, and as part of my coaching education, I'll soon need to do real coaching sessions, and it could be a really great opportunity for you to experience it at no or low cost. If you've ever been curious about working with me in this way, now's the time. So react to the show notes with a text or a voice note, or just send me an email. All the details are at patternshift.fm. And now let's get back to the episode. Do the communication and marketing part in a way that fits me, which is a lot slower and a lot more personal than social media. So that was a big one for me. So look at what I'm avoiding, think about why that is, and that will give you a really good idea of what's out of alignment. Then another really cool thing, I think it's a really good thing, is talking to other business owners, hearing others reflect on their business and what helps them and what brings them in alignment with what they love doing, just seeing their faces lit up when they talk about something or when they have an idea. That also helps me to get more clarity. So for me, that means whenever I'm doing a wins and woes session, it's just basically group coaching in a way with my clients, it also helps me a lot. So finding community, talking to other business owners is super, super helpful as well. And sometimes I just need to go for a walk and leave all the questions and trust that the answers will come when I'm ready. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about that. And as we're getting a puppy soon, just a few weeks more, and 2 days we're visiting again. So I'm very excited. But learning about puppies and how they grow and how they learn, you can only train them for a minute or maybe a minute and a half before they already need to sleep again. And they need the sleep, the time to really have what they learn embedded in their brain. And when you do a longer set of exercises and training, it will overflow their mind and they won't be able to learn as well as they would have with a shorter training session and then a longer amount of sleeping and rest. And we know that that's the same for humans. I know that that's the same for me. Every time when I have a bigger break, so in the summer and during Christmas time, I get my best ideas. And that's because I'm not constantly putting new information in my brain. There must be a better way to say that. So yeah, sometimes a walk and then trying not to listen to a podcast, but just walk, or to craft without also doing something else. Super hard for me. When I talk about it, I already get a little bit frustrated because I just keep going. But yeah, I should not do that too much because I know that when I allow myself space to think. And then I don't mean practically actually think, but just have a little bit of brain quiet. And it's never quiet. I tell you, it's never quiet. But perhaps that's quite an insight. Perhaps that's why I keep busy so much, because if I add new stuff to my brain, I at least kind of control it. Okay, let's not get into that. That's something for coaching or therapy. Who knows? Yeah, allow yourself some grace and some space and some calm and quiet. And if you can meditate, or if you're open to meditate, that is perfect to do that as well. I, weirdly enough, have been able to learn how to meditate, not for a really long stretch of time, but my challenge now is in trying to do it on a daily basis and getting it into a routine one way or another. So I'm working on that. But all comes down to the same thing, allowing your brain to come up with some answers by itself sometimes. Sounds really easy, but it actually is. But it doesn't really sound like something you can trust. But I'm telling you, trust it. It can really help. Okay, on to the next thing. I want to say again that your why is your compass. It is not a cage. You are not restricted to certain things or behavior because you have a certain reason for why you started your business. It, as I said before, it can and it should evolve. You are a whole person. You grow, you shift, you experience life, stuff happens, and so your business has to grow with you. Your goal is not to find a rigid statement that never changes. The goal is to stay in conversation with your purpose and to be in alignment with what is important to you. To notice when things feel off and then to gently steer yourself back towards what matters and what's important. And that is the wayfinding. So it's not about charging forward with a detailed plan, but navigating through listening, noticing, adjusting, and being open and curious. It's a mindset. So here's another journaling prompt if you want to try this right now, a tiny check-in. Here we go. What's one thing I've been doing in my business that no longer feels like me? Okay. You can pause and you can write, or you can come back to this. And then another question, what would it look like to let that go? This can be super helpful, especially if you're in a season of change, like the one I'm in right now with my puppy and everything shifting, feeling like it's going to be upside down. My whole routines are going to be different. I love my routines. Also, I have a hard time maintaining them. People who also have this, you know what I'm talking about. Sit with that for a while, write about it, and I hope that really helps you. So just closing up, if you have felt a little bit foggy, unsure where you're headed next, just take a break, pause, come back to your why, even if it's messy, even if it's half-formed. Let a quiet voice inside you remind you why you started in the first place. And in the next episode, we will move into Organize, the O in Yavol, and we'll talk about how to make space in your business to actually support your values and your energy. And this inner compass stuff that we all talked about today, that's where it all begins. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to learn more about finding your why, Simon Sinek has written a couple of amazing books. He has an amazing podcast. I love his work. Didn't go into it that much in this episode, but if you feel like you want to dive in a little deeper, find his work and you won't be disappointed. Okay. If this episode resonated and you are craving some community around these kinds of questions, come join us in the Yavel community. It's only a small amount of money each month. It helps to pay for the cost of making this podcast. And as a thank you, you get a loving community in return. We are honest. We're a little bit messy. We're creative. Everything comes up in conversation. We talk about running a business that works for you, and find the link in the show notes, obviously. Thank you so much. Don't forget to eat and knit your fibers. Bye. Welcome to the ad section. Here at Pattern Shift, I do not work with sponsors. I'm not the kind of content creator that makes a living in this way. I use my podcast to reach as many people as possible that might need my help, small business owners in the fiber craft community. What I will do is talk about my services and products throughout my episodes and sometimes in little ads like these. You'll hear me talk about my community, about my bullet journal workshop, my one-on-one services, my coaching and mentoring. I even build websites. If you need more information on any of this, go to patternshift.fm or ja-vol.com and you'll find everything you need to get in touch with me. If you go to the show notes page, there's a button you can click and you can leave me a voice message, which I love. It's super easy. Just click record, leave your name and email, and I'll send you a voice recording back. Any question you have, anything you want to say about the podcast, just click the button and leave me a message. I'm here waiting to help.